Comsof Fiber Designer is capable of reusing existing fiber cable in a design. At a minimum, only the amount of spare fibers available on the cable segment needs to be entered. Access structures within 5 meters of a vertex on the existing cable also need to be present. To set this up, let's open the attribute table first and add a new field, max fibers, of type long. We're going to populate it via the Calculate Field tool with a flat 144 fibers everywhere. You could just as easily copy over values in another field extracted from your inventory system, or manually enter the amount available in each record. Next, let's take a look at the access structures. They need to be within 5 meters of a vertex in order to be used as an entry point on an existing cable. This one is perfect. This one is within 5 meters of the cable, but it's not within 5 meters of a vertex on the existing cable. It can't be used to access it. This might be okay, it might not, depending on conditions in the real world. It's a good idea to double check that the data is set up to conform to your expectations of use. Remember that even if a structure is too far away to be connected automatically to an existing cable, post-initialization you can always manually draw that in yourself. Taking the time to incorporate additional attributes and properly configure your access structures will result in a more accurate and more efficient usage of your existing assets. The field GIS Tool ID, for example, is a unique ID identifying a particular cable. If the software routes signal from one cable object to another with a different ID, splicing costs will be charged. If you want to limit which access structures can be used to enter an existing cable object to better model real-world conditions, you'll need to add the field linked IDs and populate it with a comma-separated list containing the GIS tool ID values of all the access structures which may be linked to this cable. Let's set that up. First, we need to add the field linked IDs of type text. Now we can populate it with a comma-separated list of GIS tool IDs belonging to the access structures which can be connected to this cable. For example, 5, 10, and 11. Only these 3 structures can be used to access this cable. Other structures, 0 for example, cannot. If your network contains different kinds of cable with different costs, for example, owned versus cable leased from a competitor, applying a subtype to properly account for those costs of use would be appropriate. Let's open the attribute table and add a new field, subtype, of type text. Populate it with the values you want, and you're done. After initialization, you can set up a separate cost to use these 2 types of cable in the rules dialog.